rise again to glory then, soaring to the sky. If you stop and see, then you just might believe. We're unstoppable, powerful, enough to beat the odds. If you love me, you will see the flames inside of me.
Welcome back to Seduce Me Too, the Demon of War. My arm is very itchy. Anyway, continuing on with September 20th. Why is my mouse button not working? There we go. Ooh, with this fun music. So make sure my volume's all the way up. Yep, that's okay. I began to feel a bit elated at the idea of walking to train with Faye. The stress of the morning needed to be burnt away with a workout, and I knew that Faye would teach me something to take my mind off it. Mudfucker. There we go. It became like a game, a relief away from the reality of the world. I made my way to the grand hall and stopped at the doorway, looking and taking in the sight of Faye sleeping on the ground, spread eagle style. Glad to know you're gonna take this seriously. Good God, you're like a baby dragon. Are you sure you're not dying? 'Cause it took every ounce of control I had not to laugh hysterically at the sounds Faye was releasing as they slept. To think such sounds came from a cute-looking demon like Faye seemed rather bizarre and cartoon-like. Nevertheless, I knew I had to get started on training. The boys were most likely in the midst of their own training, as I stood there, so I couldn't exactly spend the time watching Faye snore. I stepped quietly into the room, drawing closer to Faye's body as I tried to think of how to wake them up. I'm a terrible person. It was only going to be a little scare. A little fun never hurt anyone, right? I tiptoed further into the room, making sure not to wake up Faye as I approached them and circled around them. As I finally stood behind their head, I crouched down and cupped my hands together. Oh God! Oh dear Lord! That hit a pitch I don't think I could ever reach. Faye jolted up like they had been zapped by a bolt of lightning and shot themselves into the air like a rocket before slamming their head into the ceiling. Oh my God, Faye, I'm so sorry! The temporary hilarity I felt as I scared Faye quickly vanished as the sound of their head colliding with the ceiling echoed through the room, and the fairy in question quickly descended, holding their head. Faye, I am so sorry, but that was fucking hilarious.
It's okay. Ow. I needed to wake up anyways.
Sorry! Faye finally floated to be level with my height, shaking their head and rubbing over where their head collided with the ceiling. I bit my lip and rubbed the back of my neck, feeling now very embarrassed and ashamed of what I chose to do. Faye wiggled their arms and let out a tired sigh before blowing raspberries with their... Raspberry. I get it now. Blowing raspberries with their mouth and slamming their hands against their chest.
I am awake!
Woo! Yeah! I had to cover my mouth to not burst out of to stop the burst of laughter that wanted to erupt from my gut at the explanation. Faye became full of energy like it was the flip of a switch. Okay. I became mildly jealous at such a feat. Nevertheless, I was eager and ready for my next training session. I placed my arms at my sides and straightened my back, showing the posture of determination and attention. What will we be doing today, boss? Faye looked over at me, looking for some sort of answer in my eyes. Despite showing the sudden energy spark like a light bulb earlier, they remained silent for a moment. Were they not sure? I hoped that today wouldn't be going over with a thorn bush again. As much as it was a cool trick, casting a thorn bush into extension from dawn to dusk was not as fun as many would imagine it to be, even with hilarious breaks in between. Finally, a glimmer twinkled in Faye's eyes, making them grin from ear to ear at me.
I know what we're gonna do!
Oh, okay, Faye, calm down. What? With a burst of energy, Faye shot themselves into the air and spun around before flipping upside down in the air and towards me.
I'm gonna teach you how to fly!
Yes! What? Fly? My mind completely blanked on itself. Fly? Was I really going to be taught how to fly? This is awesome. You're gonna push me off a building or something? Okay, now I'm a little scared. I didn't have wings. How the heck was I gonna do that? Faye nodded ecstatically, I almost said exactly, before swooping down and flying around me.
It's so easy. You just need to imagine yourself floating in the air and boom! You'll be flying in no time.
If it was that easy, I'd be doing it by now. I grimaced, watching Faye Fae fly around me. I suddenly felt like I was in Peter Pan and had to think happy thoughts to go to the second star to the right of Neverland. Oh goodness, you actually know the directions. Well, Fae was a fairy, so... I suddenly imagined you as Tinkerbell, Fae.
Tinker who?
Oh god. Right, demon world, not human world. Never mind. Fae stopped circling me and stared for a moment before shrugging and floating away from me, crossing their arms proudly and physically intimidating. Sergeant.
Now get those feet off the ground!
What? I looked down at the ground at my boot-covered feet. Making a thorn bush was one thing. Making myself fly was another. I tried to imagine it, but there was no energy in my body that would respond in such a request. How the heck am I going to fly? Let me just save just in case. Hold on. Still got the Matthew slap save. Just gonna keep that for the rest of my life. Anyway. Think happy thoughts. As stupid as the idea was, what if the thought had merit? If energy came from within me somehow, then maybe my emotions would give me that boost that I needed. A happy thought, as cliche as it was, might have been the trick. I closed my eyes and tried to think of a happy thing in my life, tossing aside my situation. I was in a loving relationship with a man who wanted to devote his life to me. I had a loving family and amazing friends. I was going to get married soon. The thought of my marriage made my entire body warm and made my entire body warm in a happy feeling. I was going to be married to the most wonderful man in the world, and we would live together for the rest of our lives and beyond. The feeling of the wedding band on my ring finger intensified the feeling, making me smile and let out a sigh. Would that be enough? However, for almost a full minute of concentration, nothing seemed to occur. Yeah. I opened my eyes and looked down at myself. My feet were still on the ground and nothing changed with me. A flash of anger sparked within me. How difficult was it to lift off the ground? How the heck can I fly? New music. As soon as the word burst out of my mouth, I shut my hands down in anger, only to be vaulted into the air by some sort of energy force beneath my feet. My body quickly shot up, defying gravity and sending me towards the ceiling. Ah! I don't know. Faye quickly zipped over towards me and grabbed me, intercepting my quick ascent to the ceiling while holding me closer to them. It was like being held by a very strong child as their small frame barely lined up with my shoulder to my knee. It hit me for a split moment. Faye was ridiculously small. Really? That's normal sized. Nevertheless, I gripped onto Faye, thankful that I wasn't going to crash into the wood above us, and looked down in awe. I was really in the air, flying, or at least being held up by some force. I could feel energy cycle around me through my body, most likely keeping me afloat. I could fly. I looked at Faye with growing excitement of the situation. This was the best feeling ever. Faye grinned before slowly letting me go, proving that they weren't holding me up, that I wasn't imagining it. Holy crap! Pure elation rushed through me as I merely measured the distance between my feet and the floor. I was in the air and slowly bobbing up and down like Faye, floating freely against gravity. I did it!
You did it! You're flying!
I whipped my body forward, feeling the air around me slowly guide me. In obedience, the energy in my body moved through the space. It was incredibly odd, feeling the air slightly brush against my entire body, but I was indeed moving forward. A large grin graced my face as I became more determined with my mental commands. I flew towards Faye and circled them before suddenly flying around the space. I felt this freeze a bird, letting my mind naturally drive me in each direction I wanted to go in.
Here we go! You're getting it!
Woohoo! Out of pure adrenaline, I arched back and did a flip in the air before rocketing back forward and gliding over to turn away from the wall as I was quickly approaching. My goodness. The rush of this new power became addicting and I wanted to do more with it. Still, I couldn't deny the effects using this power was putting me in. I could feel my energy quickly drain away the longer I remained in the air. A slightly tingled sensation ran over my legs and hands, reminding me that I had a limited amount of energy. I mentally took note of it and floated over to Faye, putting a lid over my enthusiastic glee from the new power and preparing myself for further instruction. Alright, I can fly now. What's next? Faye laughed before planting their hands on their hips.
You really like flying, huh?
I couldn't help but nod. This was the most exciting thing I had done in the demon world thus far. It was like I was a superhero or something. I barely had to think about staying up to remain in the air, and it was increasingly making me giddy. Faye grinned before circling around me and gesturing me to follow them.
Then let's have a little fun. Come on!
Where are we going? Within a blink of an eye, Faye zipped out of the room into the hall. What? Hey! Not wanting to lose them, I willed myself forward, starting the chase. I cannot read. I quickly arched around the corner, locking Faye into my sights before building up speed and to cut at my increasing distance. Faye was ridiculously fast, and I barely managed to dodge the obstacles in our way, which included other demons in the core. Hey!
Ah!
Woo!
Sorry, not sorry!
Despite ducking and dodging each speed bump in the halls, I couldn't help but laugh at the thrill of the experience. Faye looked back at me and laughed as well, but suddenly dropped their expression.
Ah!
With an almost screeching halt, Faye turned their body back upright and stopped going forward, holding out their hands and stopping me as well. To my surprise, Faye managed to stop me without budging from their place, like they were a perfect brick wall. Why did Faye stop? I turned upright as well. Suddenly confused, Faye, however, floated forward ever so slightly and looked into a nearby room, peeking over the corner of a barely open doorway. Out of my own curiosity, I did as well, feeling my energy die out and lower me to stand on the floor at last. Ooh, oh dear, we're getting deep here. What's going on? The room we were peeking into happened to be the war room as we stared at the back of Diana's head as it looked down at the table in front of her, her hands gripping the edges like angry vices ready to break it. How did Faye know Diana was in here? What the heck was Diana upset about?
How could a squad of scouts be found and slaughtered by a band of wild harpies?
Harpies? Diana seemed to answer the question, but my mind began to try to imagine what she had said. Harpies existed? You're in the demon world. Everything exists. A squad of scouts were out and were killed? I looked up at Faye, seeing them press their lips together in a worry as they stared at the succubus. As I turned to look at Diana, however, I slightly gasped and covered my mouth at what I had laid my eyes upon. Oh dear! Around Diana's body was a black and purple fiery aura, flickering frighteningly in the air around her as she dug her nails into the wood of the table.
I'll have to search for it myself. But where to start?
Before I could watch further, suddenly afraid of Diana, Faye grabbed my shirt and quickly pulled me away from the door, making sure to cover the hand I had placed over my mouth with their own for safety.
Let's go. We should get back to training.
But, without even giving me an explanation or a chance to break free, Faye guided me back to the training hall. My mind became full of questions, but as we returned to the training hall, Faye became almost like a military sergeant. I had to practice flying and forming thorn bushes to build my stamina until the end of the day, but then I was too exhausted to ask questions and just returned to my room. I would ask tomorrow. Or, how about you just don't ask at all? I entered my room. Shh, my children. Shh, my children. I can't say help. Okay. Shh, my children. You don't need to do this, my children. Thank you. Okay. I entered my room, thinking about what Diana had said to me that morning. If I drained myself of energy, then the spirit wouldn't have the power to appear in my dreams. But did I want to do that? Damn right you do. He's right there. You can do it right there with him. Hello. Erik appeared soon after, exhausted as ever. I continued to ponder as Erik sat down in the bed and stretched.
Another long day. How was your day, love?
Oh, well, you know. My mind continued to ponder. I had to make a choice. Did I care if the spirit appeared in my dreams? Give Erik your energy somehow? Hello? I mean, seduce me, sex scenes. Have we even had a sex? I can't even remember. I needed to rest without bizarre dreams. The spirit needed to stop controlling me and enticing me with its emotions. Do me! Boy! The question was, how to give Erik my energy. Oh, I wonder. I could easily sleep with him, yeah, and give him my energy through sex, but I wanted our sex to be about the mood, not means to an end. So does that mean we're not gonna do it? I looked at Erik and stared, taking in every detail of him. Erik?
What is it?
I honestly don't know. I honestly have no idea. So, we're gonna look. Awesome, we're already here. Ha 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 ha. Let's see. I should really get this up before, you know, I record. But that's stupid. Oh, okay. Guess it's my choice. Let's pull him too, you do. I gently moved and wrapped my arms around Erik, surprising him.
Princess?
Hi. I ignored his surprise and nuzzled my head against his chest. I just really wanted to give him energy, so I made myself as close as could be. Accepting my affection, Erik chuckled softly and patted my head, wrapping his free arm around me and lying back. Did I miss the chance to have sex? Oh, Oh no! Oh. Oh no. Well, that makes me a little bit sad on the inside. Can I... Wait. I might be able to do this over... Fuck me! I saved over it! Ah! That makes me sad. It was a surprisingly peaceful night. Fuck! Oh! The pain! Fucking... I woke up once again alone. Son of a bitch! However, I knew that Erik was off training. He seemed happy that he was getting back into the swing of it, despite only able to trade for a short time before the battle. However, I got myself ready, and as I got myself ready, a knock echoed at my door. Come on, knock on our door. Come on in. The door opened to reveal a sight I did not expect at all. You! What? I'm sorry, wait. He looks so calm, was like, I have come to serve you breakfast. I brought you here, might as well take care. I don't understand. This probably isn't real. My heart froze in my chest at the man who presented himself at my door. There's no way.
Huh? What's wrong?
I wonder what's wrong.
It's probably Erik, and we're gonna kick his ass. Get away from me, you son of a bitch! Demon Lord doesn't understand. Do you not love him? I scrambled back away from the Demon Lord, instantly recognizing him. I put myself against the wall, grabbing the nearest object and chucking it at him. Take this pillow! If this was going to turn into a fight, then I would attack after I beamed him with whatever I threw at him. I wonder what it was. To my surprise, a purple tendril stretched up from the ground and in front of him and smacked the object away. How did he have Erik's power? Huh, I wonder.
What the? Love,
Ew.
what's wrong?
Ew. How is the Demon Lord calling me love? Oh, God. Okay, if I don't take any chances... What if you accidentally kill Erik? No, we're not gonna go down that road. Calm down. Something was off. He wasn't attacking me or doing anything other than standing in place. His face was painted with worry as well, an expression I would never imagine seeing on the Demon Lord. I held my head and closed my eyes, trying to calm down. This had to be the spirits doing. Just another trick. Stop it.
Princess, what's going on?
There we go. Hey, welcome back. You look better than before. Kind of let yourself go there a little bit. I opened my eyes again to see Erik with a face etched with worry and panic, and in the tentacle by his head was an object I had thrown at him. Wonder what it was. But he stood where the Demon Lord was. How? I buckled down onto my knees and curled over myself, wrapping my arms around my body. This was too frightening, too real. What was happening? I want to talk to... Okay, Lammy. I looked up to see the spirit floating silently behind Erik before fading away. I knew it. But how was the spirit able to make Erik look like the Demon Lord? It was twisted method if it was trying to get me to like it. Erik knelt down and gently wrapped his arms around me, nuzzling my head.
Shh. It's okay.
It's okay, my darling. It's okay.
I barely noticed that I was shaking and whimpering. I couldn't really stop myself. The man who had trapped me here appeared before my eyes all of a sudden. Then he vanished into the man I swore to love. Erik kissed the top of my head.
The spirit must be playing tricks on you again. We'll remove it soon enough. I promise.
I nodded, believing in what Erik said. This would only last a short while, then the spirit would be gone. As I walked to the Grand Hall to meet with them for my training, my mind slowly began to trickle in memories of the day before. What was up with Diana, and what was up with her aura? She seemed normal so far, but remembering the sight of her angry flames made me a bit worried. What was she planning on doing, and where was she going to go? I finally reached the Grand Hall, seeing Faye holding a strangely woven basket of sorts. Peeking from the top of it was an intricate-looking bottle, and I could faintly catch the sight of some items wrapped in green leaves. Were we going somewhere? I tilted my head at Faye and walked towards them. What's the basket for?
Well, we gotta have food if we're gonna go out today, right?
Picnic with Faye! Oh, where are we going? I thought we had to train. However, the new look on Faye's face proved that today was not going to be about practicing anything.
I want to take you somewhere outside the castle. We'll be in a safe place, I promise. Want to come?
Yes. Warnings about leaving the castle enter my mind, reminding me of Diana's heavy suggestion. The day I arrived in the demon world, did I really want to go leave the castle now? Sure. Thinking... A moment of peace. Yay! Thinking about it, the week had been pretty stressful. Maybe it was time for a break. A day wasn't going to hurt us, right? Right. I nodded with a smile, making Faye grin back at me before taking my hand and leading me out into the hall. Ooh. They guided me through the castle at the front gate, then released my hand to fly high into the air.
Come on!
I stared up at the sky before taking a breath and nodding. I jolted my hands toward the ground and up I went into the air. Faye cheered silently before flying out over the forest, causing me to follow in suit. The journey forward continued for almost a half an hour before we arrived at a large mountain cliffside. Faye landed on it and set down their basket before opening a large sheet and draping it over the side of the cliff. This was indeed a picnic. I landed by the cloth and before stepping over it and sitting down, letting my feet dangle over the edge. We were pretty high up, and the site was gorgeous, but I was pretty sure we were safe as long as we didn't do something stupid. Faye followed suit and sat near me, pulling up the basket of their goodies between our hips. Wow. They reached into it and pulled out 2 small packages, both wrapped in large leaves and held together with
Here,
twine.
made it myself.
That worries me a bit. Faye handed one to me and began to open theirs up, allowing me to look down and observe what I had been given. It was light like a sandwich, so I expected it to be such. Unwrapping it, it was easy enough with a simple tug. As the leaf opened up, I stared at what was inside. It was a sandwich-sized block of what looked like bread peppered with little spots of green veggies and seeds of different kinds. I was intrigued just looking at it. What is this?
Good.
I stared for a bit before breaking off a piece of it and to taste. It broke off rather easily, revealing a soft and steamy warm center. It became even more interesting to me as I lifted the piece to my lips and took a bite. I expected it to taste somehow exotic or wild and crazy, but I was completely incorrect. Bread, it tasted like bread. Fresh bread, but still bread. I chewed a bit and swallowed, accepting that my expectations were cruelly deceived before looking to Faye and seeing them practically chow down on their bread block. Nice. They seemed to enjoy it a lot. Was I missing something? I took another bite and tasted it. There was a bit more taste the second time as the taste of the seeds popped into my mouth. Popped out on my taste buds, but it wasn't anything truly marvelous. Maybe it was enough for a demon. Faye finished their bread before grinning at me, crumbs decorating their lips and cheeks before they licked it away with their tongue. I took another bite of my bread before looking down at the forest, My God, I can't read. This is a pretty nice place.
Yeah, this place is pretty nice. I come here and eat all the time.
Really?
Uh-huh. I really don't like the food they make at the castle, especially the stew. Blech.
I tilted my head, vaguely remembering being offered stew that day after I came to this world. What was wrong with it? What's wrong with the stew? Faye looked over at me and gasped, their face slightly turning green despite the surprised fear in their eyes.
You didn't eat it, did you?
Well, no, but... Faye let out a relieved sigh, placing their hands on their chest. I'm curious. That was insanely curious. What was wrong with the stew? I turned to Faye and leaned in, catching their gaze and making them stare back at me. Faye, what's in that stew? Faye. Faye shut their eyes before covering their head, curling into themselves.
It's Imp! Pig Fun Imp!
Oh my God! Ew! I feel like it's cannibalism! I stared, taking it in. Pig Fawn Imp? Then I remembered the Demon Lord's henchman from the vision of the boy showed me when we met. The Demon Lord had a servant that looked like a pig fawn. According to Diana, the Demon Lord had an imp, so the servant had to be one. On top of that, one apparently had snuck into the castle to electrocute Diana the first day it came. Did she kill him and stick him in the stew? Did I almost eat a demon? My stomach felt suddenly queasy as I curved my mouth and took in a heavy breath of realization. I was now incredibly grateful that Diana had stopped me.
I am so sorry. At least you didn't eat it, right?
I nodded, shaking out my nerves and calming down. Thank God I didn't eat it. Faye let out a sigh and leaned back on their arms, looking up at the sky above us.
You know, for a human, you are pretty good with magic.
I looked over at them and tilted my head. Where was this coming from? Faye, I only really know 2 spells.
So, there are some demons who only know 1 spell. You know 2! That's better than 1, right?
That's one more than 1, yes. I was surprised but nodded. There were demons like that? Faye let out a sigh.
There are all kinds of magic in the universe, you know? For you to master demon magic, let alone fairy magic, that's a really cool talent.
I smiled, happy to know that I was being seen as talented. Something about hearing a demon telling me that I was talented when it wasn't my fiancé made me feel really special. Faye reached between us and brought the bottle, popping the cork and offering it
Want
to me.
some?
What is it?
A brew from where I was born. Salakfion. It's good, I promise.
Sure. Might as well. I gently took the bottle from Faye and lifted it to my lips, taking a sip and being surprised by its taste. If it wasn't alcohol, it definitely didn't taste like it. A gorgeous mixture of berries and mineral water danced along my tongue, revealing a hint of some spice I couldn't recognize. It went down with like water and spurred me to take a good swig before passing it to Faye and wiping my lips. Wow, that's amazing. Faye cheered before lifting it up and chugging a good percentage of it down. We shared the bottle, only limited to that one bottle, and enjoyed the state of mild euphoria, there we go, it gave us. As we sat back, we let out a why can I not say that word? We let out a sigh at the same time. How'd that? I know the word, can't say it for some reason.
Something's wrong with Diana.
There it was. I looked over at Faye to see them still gazing into the air, cheeks slightly pink from the drink they had, and they continued to speak naturally.
I have this thing, like, I can sense danger and stuff, and lately, Diana's been flaring up for me like no tomorrow, you know? Like, she's
She's what?
like she's turning into the Demon Lord or something. She's growing more, quick to make angry, maybe.
I could tell that this was the reason why Faye needed to leave the castle. This concern was definitely on Faye. This concern was definitely one Faye needed to figure out, or at least vent about. Diana seemed to be close to them. What do you think could have changed her?
I don't know. I mean, she's always kind of been a, I guess, passionate person. You know, since she hates the Demon Lord and stuff. But she's mostly been pretty nice and stuff until recently.
Really? She was nice even when you met her?
Really? Especially when I met her. I went to her after my entire clan was burned and, well, she kinda took me in and asked me to help her in the war. I was the first person besides for her guard to work with her.
That was an interesting story. While it was sad what happened to Faye's clan, they seemed to have moved on and were okay with where they were. Faye tilted back and lounged back on the blanket.
I've pretty much been there ever since the war started. I've never seen her get so angry and stuff. At least not to the point where she suddenly, poof, burst into flames.
That does seem a bit odd. I became concerned for Diana, too. Would she be okay? She was leading a large rebellion against a murderous psychopath, so it seemed to come with the job, but if Faye watched her and saw this change, then what could have sparked it? I shook my head and fell back on the sheet beneath us as well, staring into the open sky. I couldn't spend my time thinking about it. I was out to relax with Faye, and they seemed to want to get off the topic now that they had their peace. We relaxed there, chatting away at random topics until it was time to head back, practice a bit of what I knew, and separate for the night. Hopefully things will be settled soon. I feel like I should end it here because I am starving my butt off. Anyway, I'll see you guys in the next episode. Bye-bye!